welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah.
For over a century, the absolute pinnacle of engineering was, something you could hear and smell.
Yeah, like the roar of a piston or the scent of motor oil.
Exactly. But today, our mission is to explore this strategic clash between software-driven mobility and traditional mechanical engineering. Based on some recent strategic assessments and market reports, that entire century of mechanical perfection is suddenly becoming a liability.
It really is. I mean, we're looking at a landscape where the engine is just being replaced by the algorithm.
Right, and we want to deliver some clear, useful insights on how fast this automotive landscape is shifting. And to do that, we're using the rapid rise of the Chinese EV maker, Xpeng, as our primary case study.
Right, because Xpeng is, they're the perfect example of this shift. They show us exactly what it takes to survive in this new ecosystem.
Yeah, and I mean, the numbers alone are just staggering. They were founded in 2014, and they delivered 1 million vehicles in just 7 active years.
Which is an incredibly fast ramp up.
It is. And they are projected to hit number 7 in global battery electric vehicle sales by late 2025.
Yeah.
It honestly feels like legacy automakers are trying to build a better calculator, you know? While Xpeng is building a smartphone where the car is really just the first app.
That's a great analogy, yeah, because they do not view themselves as just a car manufacturer at all.
Right.
They treat the vehicle as like a hardware node in a massive AI ecosystem. So getting cars on the road is really simply the first interface to reach mass market scale.
Okay, but what else is in that ecosystem?
Well, they are actively expanding into robotaxis, vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which they actually call land aircraft carriers, and even humanoid robotics.
Oh, wow, yeah. The Iron Humanoid robot, right?
Right.
Which they're slated to roll out in Q1 2027 as retail assistance.
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds like pure sci-fi. But how does putting an in-store robot to work actually help them sell cars or, build this ecosystem?
Well, it is all about data and integration. I mean, the robot, the flying car, the EV, they all share the exact same underlying AI architecture.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that they pair this wild ambition with a very highly structured traditional R&D foundation.
Which is pretty different from early pioneers, right?
Right. They deliberately avoid the sort of flawed genius or key man risk that disrupted early pioneers like Tesla. They basically have the execution speed of a startup, but the institutional stability of a legacy corporation.
Okay, I have to push back a bit here, though. Tech hype is great, but if I'm a consumer in, say, Australia or Europe, why would I buy a car from a 10-year-old tech company?
That's the big question. Yeah.
All right, because if a sensor breaks on a legacy car, I know exactly where to take it. How does a newcomer convince hesitant overseas consumers to actually trust a new brand?
So that is the massive hurdle, and Xpeng is solving it with what we can call operational concrete.
Operational concrete.
Yeah, if you look at their expansion into Australia as a blueprint, they aren't just, shipping cars and hoping for the best.
Right, they're actually putting down roots.
Right. Exactly. They're establishing 50 physical outlets so that most customers are within a 40-minute drive of a location. Plus, they're building centralized parts warehouses to guarantee repair times actually match legacy standards.
That's huge. Because think about your own car for a second. If something goes wrong with a highly advanced EV, the fear is always being locked into some expensive specialized dealership.
Absolutely.
But Xpeng actually joined the MVIS scheme in Australia, right?
Yes, the Motor Vehicle Service and Repair Information Sharing Scheme.
Right, which means they are sharing their proprietary repair data with independent mechanics.
Yeah, and by completely opening up the repair data, they give you the freedom to take that EV straight to your neighborhood mechanic.
Which effectively commoditizes consumer trust.
Precisely, they are systematically removing the friction and fear of adoption.
But see, that open source, fast-moving mindset, that's exactly what terrifies traditional European automakers.
Oh, definitely.
Because you look at legacy brands, specifically in places like Italy, and their whole identity is built around this closed loop of mechanical secrecy. It's a deep cultural pride tied to pistons, oil, and thermal dynamics.
And that pride, what we can call the mechanical anchor of Europe, has really become a strategic trap.
How so?
Well, because they view software as a secondary add-on rather than the core product, European brands are now caught in this existential capital velocity gap.
Wait, capital velocity gap. What does that actually mean on the factory floor?
I mean, legacy automakers spend billions developing physical hardware over a 5 to 7 year cycle before they see any return on investment.
Right, those long industrial cycles.
Yeah. But Chinese firms treat the car like a smartphone. They get the hardware out the door quickly and then they iterate the software every few weeks.
So their money moves and yields returns much faster.
Exactly. Europe's historical reliance on last-minute inventiveness just might fail against competitors iterating at the speed of software rather than years-long industrial cycles.
So a century of mechanical prestige won't really protect a brand if they can't adapt to that speed.
No, it won't. The harsh reality, and a really useful insight here, is that historical prestige is a declining asset in any industry facing a software-first transition.
That completely changes how we need to look at the cars in our driveways. Well, we want to thank you for spending your time with us on this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you.
But before you go, we want to leave you with one final thought. If our vehicles are rapidly becoming highly integrated nodes in an AI ecosystem, right alongside humanoid retail robots and flying transport,
Which they are.
right, then who ultimately owns and protects the massive streams of personal behavioral data you generate just by going to the grocery store?